Hi, and welcome to NVCA's Quarterly Update. I'm Bobby Franklin, President and CEO of the National Venture Capital Association. We appreciate you joining us. Today, we wanted to take a little bit of a dive into an issue area that we spend a lot of time on, and we have a special guest. Today, we have David Hall from Revolution. David, tell us a little about yourself and about what's going on at Revolution.
Thanks a lot, Bobby. It's a pleasure to be here with you. My name is David Hall. I'm a partner at Revolution's Rise of the Rest Fund. Revolution is the Washington, D.C. based venture capital fund started by Steve Case. We've got three funds in the firm. We've got a growth fund, a venture fund, and I was one of the founding partners of our Rise of the Rest seed fund. And that's a $150 million vehicle dedicated to investing outside of Silicon Valley, Boston, and New York City. Because as you know, and as we've seen from lots of the NVCA data, over 80% of venture capital goes to California, Massachusetts, and New York. And we at Revolution, and particularly at Rise of the Rest, think that great entrepreneurs can start great businesses anywhere.
I think that's a great point. Our data does show it. There's plenty of work there, so plenty of people focus on entrepreneurs there. I think your thesis is like our thesis, but there's also a political angle to it. Our thesis is there's entrepreneurs everywhere, but it takes an ecosystem to support them. And one of the reasons we spend a lot of time on this is that we know that if we're going to make an impact on behalf of the industry as it relates to public policy, we need to make sure we connect with the congressional delegations of states that aren't California, New York, or Massachusetts. And so we need to spend time with them and show them what's happening there or what can happen there. For example, we need to make progress on the Volcker rule to make sure that there can be more funds. We've started VC University with online curriculum so we can help train the next generation of investors to hopefully be alongside the Rise of the Rest Fund and have a more syndicate opportunities to support those entrepreneurs. David, talk a little bit about kind of why folks on the coast should care about what's happening in the middle of the country.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that's a very important part about what we do at Rise of the Rest is our Rise of the Rest bus tours, which a lot of people have probably heard about. We go to city by city and we learn everything that there is to learn about what's going on in an ecosystem's city's entrepreneurial ecosystem. And we meet all of the entrepreneurs, all of the corporations, all of the universities, and even a lot of the policymakers, and try to sell them on what's going on in their own city. And it's been phenomenally successful for us. We've been able to visit places like Detroit, the backbone of American manufacturing. Hard to count out Detroit when you think about what's coming next for advanced manufacturing. And we've even been to places like Pittsburgh, where all of the amazing robotics that are coming out of Carnegie Mellon University and really sort of headquartered out of Pittsburgh, all the way down to places like Nashville, where we all have heard of the great music out of Nashville, but the healthcare evolution that's basically headquartered in Nashville, we've been able to see firsthand, and we really recognize that it's important to those communities because they don't always see themselves as the startups in those communities on the front page of the business section, and it's great to be able to have those startups be elevated and find the importance that's so relevant to them as they're looking for customers and employees and, most importantly, investment dollars.
Well, and we were talking earlier, you made a great point about how if you're in California, New York, or Massachusetts, you've never been on a farm, it's kind of hard to help, cutting edge innovation around farming, and that's so important to our country. I'm from Arkansas, you're from Louisiana, so we know a little bit about this part of the country.
Absolutely.
And as mentioned, VC University that NVCA launched, we have that online curriculum, but we also have some in-person VC University live events, and we're thrilled in September coming up, 19th through 21st, to have VC University joining at Tulane, not far from where you grew up.
That's perfect. Yeah, that'll be a wonderful thing in the fall for those folks who were able to join.
And being from Arkansas, I also know that there's a lot of fintech happening there. There's a company called FIS, and they've done a tremendous job helping incubate and start a lot of fintech companies. So not everything does happen on the coast, and that's important. David, as you think about, kind of the importance of the middle of the country, and you think about, why it's important to everybody else and what's happening, give us a little sense of, what you all plan to do over the next year or so. More bus tours, things like that?
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to continue going out and seeing the rest of the country and finding these great companies and finding young funds to partner with as we are starting to investigate what's happening in a particular city. But our goal is to continue driving and advocating for entrepreneurship in a lot of these communities. It helps us selfishly because it helps us find the best entrepreneurs to invest in, but it's also the right thing to do for not only those ecosystems economy, but for our nation's economy.
Couldn't agree more, and that's a big part of why we spend time there too. David, thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
And if you'd like more information, please go to nvca.org, or you can also learn more at
At revolution.com.
Thanks, David.